What's good, people? It's your boy Nappy Nick. Welcome to the Holy City High Podcast. This is going into college football week 3. Today I got myself, your boy Nappy, Matt, and Jacob coming back, and a newcomer in that Garnet and Go, Florida State. Let's go. What up, Ryan? How you doing today?
I'm doing well today, fellas. I'm ready to talk some football.
Absolutely. Like to have you on the podcast. We're going to take a look back, guys, on last week. Kind of go over a few of the bigger games and notes of what we hit on and what we missed. And also down below, you can look, if you're watching, to see what game scores we're playing, at least on the bigger games, the top 25 teams. All right, starting with Jacob, taking the best record of the week, 10-3. His 3 losses were Alabama minus 7.5, Wisconsin -6, and San Diego State plus 14.5. His hits, all 10 of them. You made some money. You made some people some money up to Jacob. Kansas -3, Wake Forest -10, Notre Dame -7.5, Coastal Carolina -14, Colorado -2.5, Boise State plus 3.5. Fuck that game. Ole Miss -7, Miami plus 4.5, and App State plus 18.
Someone needs to put UCF back in their place because they're weak.
Hey, those national champs 2017. You better put some respect. We're gonna go down to Matt. 8-4 record with an asterisk mark. I go through the asterisk mark. His misses were UCF, Boise State over 60. Ole Miss Tulane. This is the asterisk, guys. This is asterisk for me too. With Michael Pratt not being announced game time at 11:59 a.m. That's some bullshit. Over of 66. Texas, Alabama under 54. Wisconsin -6. UCLA, San Diego State over 48.5. His wins were Kansas -3, Wake -10, Notre Dame -7.5, CCU -14, Colorado -2.5. The Miami money line, made some money on that one, and App State UNC over 58.5, which I feel like that should be a guarantee when those two teams play. Then your boy Nick, 8-4 also. Misses were Vandy plus 10, UCF -3.5, Tulane plus 7, Texas A&M -4, and under 54 for Bama and Texas. My hits were Kansas -3, Notre Dame -7.5, Coastal -14, Colorado -2.5, App State plus 18.5, Oregon -6.5. About to skin my teeth with that one. And Wisconsin, Washington State under 58, and the UCLA money line. Overall records, guys, Jacob leading the way, 18-8 on the season, followed by me, 15-10, and Matt right behind me at 14-11. Right now, we're still making money, guys. That's how we got to look at it.
Right.
But I got to do some catching up.
That's some good winning records for sure.
Yeah. On this podcast, we keep our records, we back that shit up.
Bring the receipt.
I guess before we move on, quick notes on any of last week's games. Anybody has the comments on?
Yeah, North Carolina shouldn't have been that close to App State. Like, there was no reason for it. You got Drake May, might be a top 3 pick, and he can't get his running game or his defense to stop App State. Like, come on, Mac Brown. Mac Brown's been doing this too long.
But I'll push back on that because App State treats that game like a Super Bowl. That's a massive in-state rivalry. The North Carolina and App State. And App State is probably, like, of all the football teams in that state, the most proudest. They have the right to be, at least.
I agree with that. They
like,
always play them tough, no matter what.
Anyone tough. They beat Texas A&M last year too. We didn't forget that either.
Right.
So and also I think, and looking over the week up to that game, I think that defense was fraudulent.
They didn't have 9 sacks on the defense.
Like I said, Carolina was horrible.
It's like horrible. It's like
I could have got a sack in that game.
Stuff. Like I was watching bits and pieces of the Furman game with South Carolina, and I'm just like, dude, Spencer Rattler's gonna be running for his life the rest of the season.
Hold on, can we discuss why did he get Player of the Week? Is that
Spencer
what
Rattler?
Spencer Rattler got Player of the Week?
He got SEC Player of the Week, I
Player of the
think.
Yeah. He did like 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Against Furman.
Yeah.
That just blew. I thought I didn't read the article, but I saw a headline. I was like, that's crazy, but okay.
I mean, you got to give Rattler this 2 weeks, no interceptions. That's better than he's ever done in his career before.
Yeah.
That is true. That is very true.
Like overall, he's been playing pretty good. It's just that
he's not the problem.
Yeah, that team's just not gonna be a good team this year.
No,
they lost too much talent. They lost a lot of talent in the draft. They lost
draft
a lot of
transfers out. Like lost the best running back.
But they had the third most transfers back in, so it's just a matter of getting those players into the system.
Yeah, but was it quality?
The offensive line with all their D2 offensive linemen.
Yeah, they lost a couple of like 4 and 5 star guys transferring out too. And stuff. I'm not saying they're dominating where they're at now. At least the tailback is at Southern Cal. But I guess the other highlight, before we move on, is Miami. Shout out to Miami taking on Texas A&M.
Put it to them.
ACC.
Yeah,
ACC.
Yeah, ACC 4-1. That's probably my biggest number of the week so far. ACC is 4-1 against the SEC.
And the only blowout loss was Virginia playing Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I won't say, even though in hindsight, is Virginia Tech did lose to Purdue.
We don't care about the Big Ten. We just want to beat
Fair point.
This means more. Okay.
It just means more, man. I guess before we move on, getting ready for the slate, we do have 2 games tonight. Navy at Memphis and Bethune-Cookman at Miami. Any takes on any of those games you want to talk about before we move on?
Other than Miami should sweep Bethune-Cookman out the door.
Yeah, the spread's like minus 53.
Yeah, it's insane.
I was like, I like Miami. I know it should be like that, but will Miami do that is the question.
I mean, they play Bethune-Cookman a lot for some reason, so they're not unaccustomed to just rolling them over,
Yeah, get that check, dog.
That's how we take the under on the Navy Memphis game, just because
the Navy game. I'll probably take Memphis.
Really, the under on that one.
I'm no longer listening to Matt on over and under.
I mean, both those teams can score.
I'm not picking an over and under this week.
Navy can't score. Navy's just too small, man. Honestly, like I think those service academies, like those are restrictions they have because the players have loyalty. It's not gonna go over well. I'm gonna take Memphis to cover 13.5. Just my personal take, go with your flow. But if you like to make money, you listen to me. That's what I tell people.
I'd still take the over on that, just because Memphis has put up almost 100 points in 2 games against bad teams, but I still expect them to put up another 40 against Navy and watch Navy score 28-30. So I'm gonna take the over on that.
I hear that.
What's the over? Memphis? What's the over under? Does anybody know?
Over under.
I just had it up.
I got it right here. It's 47 and a half.
Hell yeah. I'd take that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Navy alone, or Memphis alone.
Yeah, that's super low.
I think Memphis put 40 up. I think Navy at least scored 10.
That rolling first half.
You see how it goes. All right. Well, let's move on to it, guys. Get myself ready. Boom. I hope everybody's situated. Let's go. We're going to start with essentially the SEC game of the week, which I don't know how this ended up being the SEC game. I guess there's only 2 games. No, it was Tennessee and Florida, but whatever. South Carolina at Georgia, number 1 ranked team in the country right now for the 3rd consecutive week. Back-to-back champs. Last week, Georgia beats Ball State 45-3. South Carolina beats Furman 47-21. Fun fact about this game that I don't think no one knew. I even knew this till I overheard it on, I think, a podcast. Georgia's defense has 1 sack so far this year for the whole season so far.
Wow.
Stuff.
And that's playing against Ball State and UT Martin.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind. Also, on the contrary, South Carolina has given up the 23 tackles for loss on the offense in 2 games.
Something's going to give.
So Spencer Rattler, if you care about your NFL draft aspirations, just keep that in mind, buddy. Ryan, go with the newbie, buddy. What's your take on this game?
I wish South Carolina I could say I was going to hold into it, but they've played North Carolina, looked shaky at best, looked good at sometimes. Spencer Rattler is going to be able to, find some open plays, but damn, Georgia has so much talent, they don't have an excuse to lose. I don't think I'd take the over on this. I definitely don't think I'd take the Georgia score, but Georgia should win easily. Number 1, 3 years in a row, back-to-back champs, undefeated this season. This is their first real game, and I expect them to show up at home.
All right, Georgia money line. Y'all hear it.
Want
Matt,
to take
how
the
about you?
points?
What's that?
You going money line?
Nah, they can't go money line this game.
I was about to say, man.
Yeah,
that's
I'm taking South Carolina on the
cover?
Yeah, on the cover.
Okay.
My bad. I should explain that to you.
I was about to say, man, Georgia money line. That's all right.
Yeah, that's too easy.
Risk
That's-
100 to win $1.
Matt, how about you, buddy?
Georgia hasn't showed much with Mike Bobo coming in an offensive coordinator this year. I know Carolina fans loved him in the past, but Georgia, one of my buddies is a Georgia fan. He calls me every week and just complains about their offense. South Carolina always shows up, random games they shouldn't. See Clemson, see Tennessee last year. Rattler, I'm going to take Carolina to cover. I mean, I think Rattler, if he can stay up enough to give Juice Wells and Leggett a chance to get down the field with that offensive line, they'll cover that.
All right, how about you, Jacob?
Yeah, same thing across the board. I mean, Georgia hasn't played anyone hardly yet. I mean, they did struggle the first quarter against Ball State, from what I saw. As far as Carolina goes, as you were saying, Ryan said earlier, Rattler has no picks in 2 games, that's amazing in itself. But and Carolina always plays one game good, and if they're going to play one good this year, I think they can catch Georgia off guard this year because they're not the same team they've been the past 2 years. I don't think. I kind of want to go Carolina money line on this, but
Plus $2,000.
you know what? I'm going to go Carolina money line. I'm going to upset.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's
Good.
go,
I'll get back
Jacob.
at least one game this week on him right there.
I mean, I'm gonna pick it on here, and I might throw a little one on it, but yeah, I think if Carolina is gonna upset any team this year, this will be upset right here.
Y'all hear
At
it
Georgia.
first.
Here first.
At Georgia. Y'all hear
Clean
it
the
first.
hedges.
Hey, they came into Death Valley and beat us last year, so
Anybody with an offense could have beat us last year. They can still do it this year.
that's the thing. Georgia's offense is not the same offense nor their defense, so I think Beamer can catch him off guard with some stuff. So there we go.
All right, South Carolina money line going to Jacob. I do. I wish I shared the same optimism that you have. But I don't think my conscience will ever allow me to choose that. And there's no disrespect, Carolina fans. I love for the college, but Georgia's beating you by 30 the last 2 years, and this year it's going to be the same story. And Georgia so far is 0-2 against the spread. I think that changes this week. Give me Georgia to cover this game. Minus 27.5. The dogs.
A lot of points.
That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. But if you can't block anybody, man, it's hard to win games. I think it really comes down to it.
Okay.
And that's probably going to be the best defensive line they face all season. All right, let's move on to our next game, guys. We got LSU, number 14, heading over to Starksville, Mississippi to take on the Bulldogs. Over under is 54.5. LSU is a 9.5 point favorite. Mississippi State money line plus 300. If anybody wants the dog. Jacob, let's take lead on this one. What are you thinking?
I think LSU kind of regrips after a horrible start to the season. I believe it's their first SEC game, if I'm not mistaken. But the offense needs to step up a little bit. I haven't seen much impressment on Mississippi State. I mean, their running back's doing pretty good. Marks, but I still got LSU to turn their season around right here, and they'll cover this pretty easily, I think, even on the road.
All right, Matt, how about you, bub?
Mississippi State kind of reminded me of Clemson that first week against Duke in the red zone, where they just kept turning it over. In that last week's game against Arizona, I don't trust a team that has turnover issues. LSU clearly the better team. Give me LSU to cover that 9.5 pretty easily.
Heard. Love it. How about you, Ryan? What you think thoughts on this game?
I mean, I agree with the turnovers, and I know LSU is a team that can take advantage of that, but I don't think either of these teams are capable of scoring this year. Jaden Daniels hasn't shown me squat, against caliber defense. So I'm actually going to take Mississippi State making up the difference in this one. Yeah, I'm going to take Mississippi State at 9.5.
Ooh, got a fight going on. Harold Perkins Jr. Y'all know that guy is?
Yeah, I've heard his name a time or two.
First timer, supposed to be like a top 5 pick, one of the best players in college football, at least on the defensive side. Has been completely MIA this year, missing in action. And I don't really think it's his fault. I think it's just scheme. I know they're missing a few pieces on the defense line that they're about to get back. So that's probably could free him up. But I think he's going to show up and show out in this game. So I'm definitely joining the LSU to cover 9.5. Also, Mississippi State with a new coach, new offense is completely different than it was last year. Like they're essentially are running the ball. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball against the defensive line. The way you're going to be LSU, you're going to have to take advantage of their secondary. If you can't do that, you're probably not going to win against them. So give me LSU to cover 9.5. Keep it going, guys. We're going to go Big 12. No, not Big 12. Yeah, Big 12 versus SEC. Kansas State, Missouri. The Wildcats are minus 3.5 favorites. Over under 47.5. The dog money line from Missouri is plus 150. Ryan, I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Missouri seems pretty lost so far this year. Maybe the worst team in the SEC after Vandy's shown up the last 2 games. I mean, I don't want them both of them, but they showed up, where Missouri hasn't really shown up to anything. I'm going to take Kansas State easy, even though it's at Missouri. It's not a team they're unaccustomed to playing, with Missouri's days back in the Big 12. I'm taking Kansas State at 3.5.
Matt, what about you, bub?
Did anybody see Missouri barely squeak out that win against Middle Tennessee State?
Yeah, dude.
23-19. Missouri, the show me state, and Missouri has showed me absolutely nothing all season. I'd probably take Vandy right now if they played them head to head. Kansas State has 20 tackles for loss this season. I just don't think Missouri can keep up, and so I'm definitely going to take Kansas State to cover.
All right, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm going to go same Kansas State to cover this easily. Also, last year in this matchup, Cook was horrible, the quarterback for Missouri. 8 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's throwing picks this year like crazy. So, yeah, Kansas State covers this one easily.
I think I'm gonna go with bet agreement with you guys across the board. I am curious about something because something just seems off. That this has gone up to 5. I'm keeping it at 3.5. That's why I saw it earlier today. But I feel like this line should have been like at least 9 or 10.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Like that's way too small of a line.
Even if it's on the road, I'm like,
there's another one of those later on too.
Yeah,
like they know something we don't.
Right.
I feel like they know something we know, and I'm gonna be pissed off because I'm gonna keep an eye on this game because I was just like, that's fishy, man. That's just easy
Way too
money.
close.
Unless they know something about Will Howard not playing
that we don't know, or keep a secret. Even without, I don't know. I know Missouri's defense isn't that bad, but their offense is so bad. I don't think they'll be able to keep scoring.
Yeah, their offense is terrible, and their defense couldn't even stop Middle Tennessee last week. That's a team that you should let maybe get a couple of field goals on you if you're an SEC team. And what are they in now? Not the AAC. What are they in now? Middle Tennessee, right?
Sunbelt.
Sunbelt, right? They were right there from pulling the upset.
They're
in Missouri.
I mean, Sunbelt to me is the best group of 5 this year.
It's definitely become one. I'd still call it the Mountain West the best, but Sunbelt from being the worst for decades, or at least a decade as long as it was around for, to being maybe one of the most prominent Power 5 teams now. Texas State is showing up this year. Weird teams that you wouldn't think would have a good season are playing well in the Sun Belt.
They're actually in Conference USA, just so you know.
In Conference USA?
They are in Conference USA?
They are in USA now.
Oh, okay. Well, that sucks for this in the Sun Belt.
Hey, I'm pro Sun Belt. I'm pro Maction. I'm all about it.
The Sun Belt got Marshall. They're plenty happy.
Yeah. I will also probably take the under on this game too. Just throw that as like a side bet. I feel like this game's probably gonna be like 34-7. They'll probably put them around 40. So that would be like a little side note from my listeners or listen on the audio side. Guess I might as well throw this little promo. Please, if you listen to us, this is streaming on YouTube and Facebook, so please subscribe. I need to get my followers up on that so I can get paid. Trying to be big time, man. Trying to be like Stephen A. And they got to help a brother out. If you listen to the audio side, please subscribe on every major podcast platform, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. But we're going to keep it moving. Going to our next game, San Diego State at Oregon State. Number 16 ranked Oregon State. Oregon State is minus 4.5. Over under is 48.5. Money line for San Diego State is plus 1,500, which is a very heavy favorite for Oregon State. Matt, let's start off with this one.
I was really thinking this was going to be a good game until last week when San Diego State just laid an egg against UCLA. Oregon State has the number 1 defense in the Pac-12. San Diego State has the number 11 offense in the Mountain West. Not a great combination for those teams. I'm going to say Oregon State covers this. Was a little bit hesitant, but I do think they cover.
All right, Brian, what's your thoughts?
You know what? I'm with them. I normally wouldn't take a cover this big, but let's talk about Oregon State's new star, DJ Uiagalelei. Clemson was calling him the problem of the offense for years, but I don't think that's the truth. I mean, that dude only came out his first game through 5 touchdowns and 400-something yards. Like, Oregon State clearly fits him. I think he's going to throw the ball all over San Diego State and make them look absolutely embarrassing. I'm going to take Oregon State on the over on this 24.5.
Yeah. Jacob.
All right. DJ has done pretty well, and we saw that against high school teams when Clemson played them as well. So, but
no, show the boy some love.
He is doing a phenomenal job out there. You know, he just didn't fit in with us at the time, so I still respect him. He was a good kid. But I do like Oregon State on this. I'm actually going to go with the over in this game. I think it's you got it at 48.5.
Yeah.
So they've scored 42 and 55 the past two games. So I'm thinking they're scoring at least 40 after what UCLA did to them last week. And with like you said, DJ is clicking right now, passing and rushing. So I think and I think San Diego State might get one or two in there, especially one late to probably cover it late. So I'm gonna go with that over.
No quick thoughts. I probably think Oregon State's gonna cover this pretty easily. San Diego State's defense isn't too bad, but I don't think their offense is so bad. They're just gonna put them in bad situations where Oregon State's gonna get some easy scores. So I'm down with you guys. Take the spread 24.5. Shout out to the Beavers, which is also one of my favorite shows. Angry Beavers. Great show.
Angry Beavers. Great show.
No one likes the Angry Beaver, right?
Oh,
That's all. That's debatable.
well, yeah, unless you call it Daggett.
Next up, ACC Big Ten matchup. Minnesota travels to Chapel Hill to take on the number 20 ranked Tar Heels. -7.5. Over under 51. Money line Minnesota plus 245. I'll start this one off. North Carolina, you're fraudulent. You're fraudulent. Fraudulent. I just in this game particularly, this is like a 50-50 because it's really going to come down, can the North Carolina defense stop Minnesota's running game? And I don't believe they won't be able to do it. So in this game, I'm not really going to kind of choose because I would kind of take that money line with Minnesota. But I'm actually going to take the under in this game and have it be under 51. Matt, what's your thoughts?
Minnesota, giving up 16 points this year. Take it. It was Nebraska and Eastern Michigan. Drake May, I think, can spread them out a little bit and start scoring a little bit more. I'm not really worried about last week with North Carolina because App State plays them tough every year, including last year where they scored 40 in the fourth. That's their Super Bowl. So give me North Carolina to cover that 7.5 with Drake May leading the way.
Hear that? Jacob, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, I got North Carolina covering this one as well. I think North Carolina's defense does get back on track a little bit, even because, like you said, last week is one of those games that you can kind of throw everything out the window when it comes to stats and everything else. So, yeah, North Carolina covered. Just because Minnesota, opening the season, very low-scoring game, and then last week, they only put up 25 points. I just think North Carolina outpowers them by the end of it.
Hear that? How about you, Ryan?
Man, you want to go with Drake May because that dude could be a first rounder easy, but North Carolina gives up the run game. That's what Minnesota does best. Minnesota could have 2 200-yard rushers by the end of this game, and North Carolina's already allowed almost 500 yards of rushing in 2 games. So I'm gonna take Minnesota on this one. The money line. I think Minnesota's gonna pull this one off.
Go ahead now. Come out here spicy. Plus 245. I don't disagree with that either. I think Minnesota definitely can go there to beat them. It's really they're going to actually throw the ball, give Drake May actually looking like a Heisman candidate. But I think they're just missing some weapons on the outside. They're just not as good as last year's. It really comes down to it.
One quick question though: Did they give up 500 yards last week on the ground? Because they allowed 0 yards to Carolina, actually negative yards rushing to South Carolina. That's just a question. I'm just curious. He said 500 yards. That was like a big boom. Right? I was like, wow, they had negative yards against South Carolina. So did they?
They
give up
did. I forgot about that. I have to double check my notes now.
I was just curious. I was like, man, they gave up that many yards to App State rushing with negative yards against Carolina.
But I remember that now. I don't know. That's just what I wrote.
Oh, hey, no, I was just curious. I was saying, man, I didn't know they ran the ball that much at App State.
People.
On ESPN, it says 108.5 yards allowed
Per
They
game.
gave up 649 yards overall. To App State last year.
No, it was
This is the wrong game.
just
Wrong
curious.
game.
I wasn't trying to call you out, Ryan. I was just about to say.
Oh no, you're good. If I'm messing something up, you got to let me know.
No,
Because
I
otherwise,
was,
I'll say it somewhere else and sound like a.
no, I was like, man, they gave up a lot of yards last week on the ground if they did.
Okay, so it's 108.5 on the season. So they did give up 360 rushing yards. 316.
In the App
Last
State
week
game, yeah.
it was 216. They've only played 2 games.
216. My math's bad.
All right. I
My
mean,
math's
In the
bad.
ballpark. In the ballpark.
You mean 108 plus 108 doesn't make 316?
man. 216 is 500. I like it.
Down up.
I gotta find out where I got that from now because I have no idea why my notes.
You gotta check your stats.
I got-
Stat sites.
I'm still taking Minnesota though.
No. I was just curious about saying, man, their team's even worse than I thought they were in North
Yeah,
Carolina.
right.
Let's say I might have to switch my pick.
All right, we'll keep it moving back to the SEC. I think this is the only second matchup of actual conference game. This is I think one of the game of the weeks overall. I got number 11 Tennessee 6.5 favorite over Florida in Gainesville, over under 58.5. Money line for Florida plus 205. Ryan, since you're a Florida boy, I'll let you start off.
I wouldn't take that Florida line for anything. Tennessee is going to win by way more than 6.5. Florida looks inept. Their offense barely works, and Tennessee's just throwing the ball however they want, whenever they want. I don't see Florida being anywhere in double digits near Tennessee this week.
This was my second.
The Swamp.
Because they know something we don't that I mentioned earlier. 6.5.
That doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like that.
I don't understand it.
Makes no sense to me.
I think it's because it's in the swamp and it's a rivalry game. That's really the only reason.
I mean, that's the only excuse I can come up with, but I still haven't seen anything out of Florida that shows they can stay within 7 or 8 points of Tennessee.
Oh,
Everybody's still on the Swamp Kings hype train right now. That's what it is. It fooled me.
They must have Tebow coming back to play quarterback for them.
Yeah.
but what's your thoughts on it, Jacob?
Hernandez
I'll
is
let you go
back
around
out.
with it.
Obviously, Florida is off to a horrible start. I mean, they played
Play McNeese State.
a good game last week, but at the same time, I mean, against Utah, that game was just atrocious to watch, especially taking Florida outright on that game. But yeah, that was but Tennessee hasn't stopped since last year. Milton's still doing great. They had 2 warm-up games basically too, but I mean they blew out Virginia, which Virginia's not that good this year, as we all know. But Florida just they're struggling. It's not their year yet, so Tennessee to cover this.
All right. How about you, Matt?
So I'm looking right now. The line is down to 6. It's not even 6.5 anymore. Who is doing this? Who? What do they know?
They knew we were doing the show, so they wanted to screw us.
Yeah, clearly.
Right.
I don't understand how it's 6.5, 6. I don't get it. I get Tennessee didn't look great against Austin P last week, and Florida put it on McNeese State. Congratulations. Yeah, I don't know how you don't take 6.5, but for some reason I feel like I should take Florida just because I don't understand this line. But yeah, give me Tennessee at 6.5 somehow that they don't cover that. Vegas knows something I don't, and I hate them.
No, I agree with you, Matt. That was probably the second game I looked at. I was just like, that's intriguing. I will I guess if I play devil's advocate with it, Florida really didn't look as bad as it seemed against Utah. They overall they gave up some big plays and stuff, and I know Utah shouldn't be the standard because their offense is not that good either.
Against the backup quarterback, Nick.
Not backup quarterback, but no, Graham Mertz didn't look bad. He just was missing. And it was his first game at a new school and on the road.
They also had 2 key penalties that set them out of, I forget, offsides penalties that just set them back too.
Come back like stuff. Like they were shooting themselves in the foot more. So it's like they lost the game more than Utah beat them.
Right. What's the key? You said they gave up big plays against Utah. What does Tennessee do but make big plays?
Yeah, but the problem with it is he's missing. Joe Milton, he's missing on those throws. It's kind of like not as bad as a situation compared to Alabama's quarterback. Like you stuff, but like I think in that offense you have to be accurate. And if you're not accurate, like Hayden Hooker was, like it's gonna be spoils. I'm saying I think Tennessee's gonna win, but I'm gonna go with the under in this game. 58.5. I think this is going to be a low scoring game. I think Tennessee's gonna put up points as much as people think. I think there's something people know why that line's going down. So I'm like, I ain't touching that. I'm gonna go under 58.5. All right. We'll keep it moving. We got another classic ACC versus SEC matchup as the Yellow Jackets, Georgia Tech, goes down to Ole Miss to take on the Rebels. Mississippi's 18-point favorite in this game, over under 63.5. Money line for Georgia Tech is plus 650 if you want to let the dogs out. Jacob, what's your thoughts on this game?
Well, Ole Miss, I mean, they haven't played anybody yet this year either, so we don't know exactly how they're going to be looking.
Tulane.
I mean,
hey, but Tulane was missing players. They didn't play Tulane like
you better put some
we've been
respect
rating
on
Tulane.
yeah, but then there's Georgia Tech, new coach, who is it? King, that's their quarterback.
Haynes King.
Yeah. I mean, he's lit it up this season so far, I think. As far as Georgia Tech and passing, I think they got more touchdowns recently than they have passing in a long time.
Also, compared to how Jeff Sims look in Nebraska, I think anybody was an upgrade at this point.
That's also true.
It was crazy they commit looking forward. So Mike Norvell made the right move. Keep going, Jacob.
Yeah, I hear you. I think Georgia Tech will cover this. Ole Miss is going to win, but I can't go with the upset on this one. But Georgia Tech will cover 18 points on this game, I believe.
Hell yeah. Ryan, how about you, Bob?
I don't know. I think that's a little optimistic. Georgia Tech's pass game looks real good. They look real close to Ole Miss's pass game, but both of them have played, suspect schedules. Georgia Tech did play Louisville, I guess, and almost won that, but Ole Miss is in Louisville, and I don't think they'll be able to control and cover that Harris kid. Shoot, he's already got 5 touchdowns on the season. I wouldn't be surprised if he got 2 more in this game for Ole Miss. So I'm gonna take Ole Miss to go an 18 over on this one.
Let's do it, Matt.
Ole Miss is only averaging 3.5 yards a carry. That's surprising for especially the teams they've played. I really thought they would have a little bit more of a run game against Tulane. Again, no disrespect to Tulane, but Mercer, you're averaging 3.5 yards a carry from those two teams. Kind of worries me. Going up against Georgia Tech, who's averaging, I think it's roughly 5.5 yards per carry. Again, you've played South Carolina State and Louisville. That's concerning. So give me Ole Miss and Jackson Dart to spread it out against this Georgia Tech team.
I'm very much in lock agreement with you guys. Georgia Tech has improved a lot. They just I don't think they're improved enough to be able to compete with Ole Miss. This is not even saying that Ole Miss is it's gonna be a great team. I think that still remains to be seen. But I think Jackson Dart has looked good all year so far. And Lane's gonna put up points, especially at home. So I'll take the 18 Ole Miss to cover.
Did Jacob take Ole Miss or did he take Georgia Tech?
Yeah, I thought he'd take Georgia Tech. Yeah.
Yeah, you did Georgia Tech?
Yeah, the cover.
Yeah, he took Georgia Tech.
My bad. Yeah.
I was making sure.
Felt like that 8 points last week you tried to put on me instead of 7.5.
Yeah, man, I have been quality insurance.
Dude, I'm an auditor. That is my job. Sorry.
They catch everything. Gotta catch them all.
Yeah.
All right, good catch. All right, guys, about halfway through this.
I'm Jacob. Jacob took Georgia Tech. I took.
Oh
Ole
damn,
Miss.
shit! I'm fucking up. Hold
Hey, he also took Georgia Tech, not Georgia. You keep talking about the dogs, letting the dogs out. You're pissing off Georgia Tech, giving them some material for the locker room. They're the Yellow Jackets, Nick, not the Bulldogs.
I thought that was a 13 points.
He was just referring to the real Georgia team, is all.
Yeah. To hell with
Georgia
Georgia.
State?
Is that what he's saying?
Georgia State.
No, because they didn't help me out last week. So no.
All right, guys.
Jacob doesn't forget, guys. If you do him wrong the week before, he will not pick you the following week. And clearly it worked.
Not all the time. Not all the time. Most of the time, though.
Right. All right, guys. Next game, we got BYU at Arkansas. Arkansas -8 as an 8-point favorite. Over under is 47. The money line is BYU plus 260. Matt, let's start for this one. What do you think about the Cougs and the Razorbacks?
Arkansas is without their star running back Sanders this week, so that was a little bit interesting to see. But if you're going to make me choose between KJ Jefferson and Keaton Slovis, I don't know how you don't take KJ and the dual threat of him to cover 8 points. So give me Arkansas to cover that 8.
All right, Ryan, what's up?
I agree with him. KJ Jefferson's looking real good this year. He looks like he did 2 years ago as opposed to last year when he kind of had a disaster season. But I'm not down on BYU yet. I don't think I've seen enough out of them to be down on them. I like Arkansas, but I think BYU can cover this one. I think Arkansas wins somewhere 3 to 5 points over BYU at home. So I'm gonna take BYU under.
And Jacob?
I got to go with Arkansas to cover this one. Their defense is not allowed a touchdown this season. And I do think Jefferson will have – he's going to have to step it up a little bit. But overall, BYU's I'm not sold on them yet in any way, shape, or form. So they'll get their first loss coming in Fayetteville this weekend.
All right. I'd probably say Arkansas too with the cover. Honestly, I really have no thoughts on this game. Don't really care about it. SEC. It means more. Simple as that.
Says the Florida State fan.
And I'm trying to hype up our future conference.
The Big Ten?
Hell yeah, Big Ten.
They don't want you at the SEC. You're not bringing a new market to them. They already got Florida.
New market. Man,
that's all it is these days. They want
it's quality of games, man. Quality
Big
of
10,
games.
Big 12 has Florida. Big 10 doesn't have a Florida team yet. It's only a matter of time.
I'm saying the SEC does. They don't want.
Oh,
they already have
I mean, I want Florida State to play Southern Cal. Who the fuck wants to make that trouble? I mean, it'll be dope to go to LA.
We're gonna play Cal and Stanford anyways. Now, shoot.
Good point. I guess good.
Southern Cal's closer.
The All Coast Conference, baby.
All coast. What is college football going to, man? That's wild. All right, guys, we'll keep it moving. We're going to one of the biggest rivalries of the weekend, the backyard brawl. Pitt taking on West Virginia. West Virginia -2. I never thought I was going to see West Virginia's -2 from the beginning of the season. But guess what? They actually looked pretty good. Over-under is 47. Moneyline Pitt +125. I'm starting off with this one. Let's go. Fucking Mountaineers, dude. All day. I guess I should be pro APC, but Pitt looked horrible last week. And West Virginia's not saying they're going to be a great team, but they look good enough to be able to beat Pitt. So I'm going to take them to cover too. Jacob, or what's your thoughts, Jacob?
I got to go West Virginia as well. Like I said, that loss last week for Pitt, I was a little shocked at. Honestly, I thought Pitt might have a little bit better team this year, but yeah, Mountaineers. No Pat White, but they might pull this one out like that.
You gotta find something. Matt, your thoughts?
I don't know what happened to Phil Jerkovich, because when he was at Boston College before he transferred to Pitt, he was a good quarterback, good system NFL style quarterback. Last week against Cincinnati, 19 of 32 for 100, or actually 10 of 32, 10 for 179 yards. He got heavily rushed by a Cincinnati team. Cincinnati, they're okay, but I think West Virginia gives them a little bit more pressure with that 3-3-5 defense they run. So give me West Virginia to cover.
All right, and Ryan.
First of all, my whole family's from the Pittsburgh area, so I got some love here. Let's not forget West Virginia played a Pittsburgh team last week, Duquesne, and let them score, 17 points on them last week. Duquesne should not be scoring 17 points on West Virginia. But you're both right. That Cincinnati game was ugly from Pittsburgh. So I'm just going to say both these might be bad. And I'm going to take the under on the whole thing. I don't think these guys get near to 47 points this week.
Yeah, I was looking at it too. I was like, I think this is going to be a low scoring game.
I'd say tops 20 to 16 or something like that. Like the highest scoring I can think of.
Don't fault you on that, bud. All right, we go back up to the upstate of South Carolina, where Clemson Tigers welcome the Florida Atlantic Owls. Spreads -24.5, over unders 51.5. FAU +1400 on the money line. I guess I should start with a Tiger with this one. So Jacob, go take it away, bro.
Well, I don't even know what to say about this Clemson team right now, still, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't remember last time Clemson covered at this point. It's been
Did they cover last weekend?
no.
Did they cover?
We did not cover last week.
Damn, that's wild.
It was like 49 and it's supposed to be like 50 or something like that. But Florida Atlantic, I do not know much about them. But I just still am just not sold on our offense right now. I don't know. We did put up a lot of points, but at the same time, it was I wasn't happy. So just going with the trend right now, Clemson not to cover this.
Ooh, FAU +24. Okay. I'm a Clemson fan. Let me say that one more time. FAU +24.5 by Jacob.
I'm going with the trend. That's all I'm saying.
From a Clemson fan.
Till we break it, I'm going with it.
I just want to know, we do mind breaking things here in the whole City Hot podcast.
Or I could go over. I don't know. Should I go to over?
Nah, I'll type it now.
It's locked.
You slide it in.
I just saw the over at 51.5. I kind of like that too. But
See, why do you think he got his light so dim? Trying to hide his face.
I'm not. Y'all know it fades out. I don't get it.
Matt, I'll let you take our next Clemson in the house expert. Matt, you muted.
Yep. Isn't this the 8 o'clock kick everybody expected Clemson to play under the lights from a team from Florida Atlantic? Yeah. Nobody expected it to be Florida State, right? No, next week noon kickoff. Anyways, like Jacob said, the offense, I don't really know what they're doing. Cade can't throw one out. They take a pick six. Other than that, and fumbling again, giving away points. Defense looks good. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to take the under on this actually. I don't think Florida Atlantic scores, that much, but then I also don't think, Clemson goes out there and puts up 52. I think they go out there and be kind of vanilla, trying to save up anything they can for next week.
All right. Ryan, your thoughts?
All right. Well, Jacob, I'm gonna let you know a little secret about FAU. Their coach is Tom Herman, the old Texas coach, and that guy knows how to run offense. Do I think FAU's there yet? No. But Clemson isn't who we expected to be. I don't think FAU has a chance to win, especially in Death Valley, but I don't expect Clemson to cover. I think Casey Thompson is going to go in there, the FAU quarterback. I think he's going to make a few good throws, throw some interceptions, keep them out of the game. But I am going to take FAU to cover in this one, even though it's in Death Valley.
Ooh, man. I think Clemson has to put on a little bit of a show to give their fan base some optimism going to the Florida State game. So I'm actually going to go with the over with this. I'm going to fight Matt because I think Clemson's like after that first quarter or first half of the game essentially with Charleston Southern. I think Clemson's to give up some optimism against Florida State. They're gonna have to kind of look the part. That's half the reason why we got a 12 o'clock game, motherfuckers.
Those bastards.
You remember when we thought this was gonna be like a top 5 matchup?
Yeah, it's gonna be game day.
Yeah, you would think, right? Now we might get a game day against Miami.
Yeah, right.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love that.
That'd be dope.
When was the last time game day showed up for Miami versus FSU?
2003.
Nah, it was like 2007, 6.
It was 8 or 9, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. It was
no, you're right. I don't know.
That was the last one. It was opening. It was Labor Day weekend.
But I was gonna say, I do remember 06. It was College Game Day, number 11 FSU versus number 8 Miami. But I think they had one more after that. Because that was my first game. That was my first game at FSU. Was Miami, Florida State.
Florida State? Oh hell, that's a hell of a start. See how get anybody on. I guess we'll keep moving, guys. We have quick thoughts on this game, unless everybody have deep thoughts. But we're gonna go Syracuse, representing the ACC, going to there's ACC Big Ten matchups. 2.5 point favorites going Purdue over under 57.5 money line Purdue plus 120. Ryan, let's start for this one.
I don't know what to think of this, man. I think these are two super evenly matched teams. I think Syracuse better than last year. Dino Babers is a good coach. Purdue's got a new coach. It was the only thing that I could take away from Purdue, and that Card is the new quarterback this year. But I think this is an evenly matched game. I think this might be a good game, but that's hard to pick what I want to do. But I'm going to take the under on this one. I don't see them being big, high, potent offenses. I think Purdue, the most they've scored so far is 35 points in a loss against Fresno State. Syracuse is scoring, 24, 28 each game. I think it'll be a good game, but I don't think they'll make the over on that one.
All right. Jacob, thoughts?
I'll just make this one quick. I'm going Syracuse cover, just ACC over Big Ten. Haven't watched much of either team, so can't give a
Yeah,
true.
Jacob, you give some other orange teams some love, man.
You got to pull for one of them.
Matt, your thoughts?
Like Ryan was saying, I think this is an evenly matched game. Garrett Schrader, I really like everything he does. Good dual threat quarterback. I think he's going to give me the difference to cover with Syracuse in this game. But other than that, I think it'll be a good game.
So, what was your pick? Sorry,
I
my
was
bad.
picking Cuse to cover.
Kisco, gotcha. I'm gonna go with the Purdue money line. I really have no reason other than I just want to be opposite of everybody else. So change it up. Did they beat Virginia Tech, which I think Virginia Tech's not that great of a team either. So it's hard to get a read. But I don't think Virginia Tech is a lot more improved compared to the were last year. And I'm just gonna bank it on vibes, man. I'm a vibes guy. So vibes for everybody. We got 2 games left on the slate. We're going to take a group of 5 game. I feel like I told myself we're going to do at least one group of 5 game a week, especially with conference play. This week, we got James Madison coming off a big win over UVA, taking on Troy. Troy is a 2.5 favorite on this. Over under is 46.5. James Madison's plus 5. I'll start this one off, top it off. I'm gonna go with James Madison, man. They were one of the best teams. They actually were the best team in the Sun Belt last year. They just wasn't eligible to go to the championship. They probably are the best team in the state of Virginia because I don't know what the state of Virginia got going with football. There's a lot of good recruits. Some of those guys you should be able to keep in the state, but for whatever means, I'm gonna go with the money line with James Madison to win outright over Troy. Matt, your thoughts?
I'm going to go with you with James Madison. Troy's given up 30 points to Stephen F. Austin to open it, and then gave up 42 last week, and I think it was to Kansas State. But their offense, they have averaged 3 turnovers a game. James Madison's only had 1 turnover this season, so give me James Madison.
All right, you Jacob?
I've got James Madison as well. That was a crazy win last week for him. And Troy, got blown out basically by Kansas State. But James Madison, both games, has been pretty consistently offensively, and I think they'll tweak this one out.
All right. And Brian?
I'm running with the pack on this one. James Madison money line. I don't know why Troy's favored. I think James Madison's better coached. Should be an easy win for them.
Fun fact for anyone who wants to know, which apparently this is like the 3rd game that's kind of weird, but the heavy money favorite is on Troy to cover, with 98% of bets going to Troy. So
what do they know that we don't?
Right.
How to lose money.
How to lose money. Right. And our final game of the slate, guys, is also, I guess, technically the game of the week. Stuff.
No, the game of the week is Colorado State.
I hope people don't get, guys. I guess we gotta talk about Colorado State over this. I gotta get them on. I gotta get Prom to shine, man.
I'm ending it.
Oh, God. We got the Washington Huskies, number 8. Him and Michael Penix, -16, taking on Michigan State. Over under 55.5 money line. Michigan State at the time was 5.75. Note of this game, obviously, if you haven't heard, Mel Tucker was let go by Michigan State, which I think Michigan State wanted to do that anyway. So this was kind of just a way to expedite the process. But Matt, I'll let you take off for this one. What's your thoughts on this game?
Like I said, Michael Penix Jr. is the dark horse for the Heisman. Has been all year for me. Michigan State's going to be distracted. They don't have a head coach per se still with Tucker gone. think it kind of distracts them, and Washington covers because you can't have that distraction going against that Washington offense.
All right. Jacob.
I got Washington in this one as well. I think we all agree Penix is going to be in New York coming into the season. All they've done is put up points, and I know Michigan, it's always been an old school style, but they're going to put up points easily on them. That offense is just powerful.
All right. And Ryan? Lush?
Bush?
Bad timing. I'm with them. Although I do take a different approach. I think getting rid of Mel Tucker in the long run or even in the short run is going to lift spirits up in Michigan State. Coaching staff didn't like him. Players didn't like him. I actually think Michigan State might do a little bit better, but I'll still take Washington to cover by 16. Penix is going to throw that ball all over the place.
16 is a weird number
That is a weird number.
to have in the spread, and it's been like bothering me all. And I do agree with Ryan thinking Mel Tucker losing Mel Tucker would be an upgrade for the program. But I can't even use Michael Penix. I'm gonna go with the crew. I want to be different, but I guess I want as a side bet. I probably say I'll take the under in this game, 55.5. That was kind of like I was thinking too. I think this game, even though Washington has a good offense, their defense is still, I think it's suspect. I don't think they're elite yet. It's just that Michigan State offense hasn't. I mean, they haven't really played anyone noteworthy to kind of judge them fully on it. But I think they're a little bit more improved. And also, the team last year was really banged up. So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually cover this game or put up low points. But I think this game's gonna be like 31-17, roughly. Just my thoughts. My tad bits.
I wouldn't be surprised if Washington puts up, 45 points this game. That's they're
going to put up a lot of points.
Yeah, and that their bad defense just makes me want to take the over even more personally. Like if I was to do a side bet, I'd take that over easy.
All right.
Hey, Nick, I'm going to switch one just because I said I wasn't going to take an over or an under this week.
Okay.
Give me Clemson to cover over Florida Atlantic just because. Keep going. That's Ryan.
That's me.
Shit.
I'd like to keep that one.
Yeah, one job. One job.
Does anybody have the Nick counter? How many times he's gone to the wrong person?
Click that. There you go. Give me Clemson to cover just because I said I wasn't gonna take an over and under.
You just want to go with me.
I gotta fix it.
You just want to be unison. I respect that.
But we're still at the over.
It's still not right.
Still taking Clemson.
Huh?
Clemson over.
Clemson to cover on that one.
Oh, Clemson to cover. You keep saying over. When I hear over, I think over under. Not.
That is true.
In fairness. Hey, I'm talking about Matt. Have some faith in your team. Don't be like Jacob.
I got to catch up with Jacob somehow.
I said we were going to win. I just didn't say we were going to cover.
No overs for unders for me this week because those bit me in the ass last week.
Just one note for got a few notes. This is a shout out to Dion doing big things up there. That's from Matt Dion.
I hope he loses another toe.
Power Ride was once again one of the most viewed games of the week, bringing in about 9 million views. Prime time.
Take off his hat and the sunglasses and look me in the eyes when he talks to another adult.
I think Prime, with all the heat on Dabo, if Dabo doesn't perform, I think Prime and Clemson.
I'd take it in a heartbeat. What are you talking
about? I just can't see Clemson's. I can't see Clemson's school board or their AD.
No, we will burn it down.
I still think it would be a win. I just don't see Clemson going for it.
0% chance. Well, hey, we know he's not going to Florida State because he's not a no. Ask him about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's talk about how much he's been crapping on his old alma mater for.
He's not an alma mater. He graduated from HBCU. Ask him about it.
His words.
Still crapping on Florida State though, and that don't sit right with me ever.
Yeah, man.
So am I excited to watch Dion win in Colorado? Yeah, because it's nice to see Colorado win again for once.
Absolutely not. I
He
need
needs,
Oregon
he
to go
needs
in there
to
and
keep the
blow
nose
them
out
out.
his mouth.
I need Oregon. I need next week Oregon to throw up 100 on them and Travis Hunter just be look lost.
That's the thing. I don't know, man. Like,
They didn't look good last week. Did anybody watch that first half? If Nebraska had a quarterback with a pulse, that game was close.
Next week is different, but they're going to run all over Colorado State this week.
Oh, I'm not saying that. That's why I'm ready for Oregon next week to just go in there and that'll shut them up. For a
3:30 game too. That's the game that they chose over Florida State Clemson.
Yeah.
For the 3:30 slot.
Rude.
Come on, ESPN, do better.
Yeah. Who wants to watch Oregon play?
I guess one note is y'all have any bets I guess outside the games we covered?
Yeah, I took the Florida State Boston College under. Just because the 20-mile-an-hour wind coming in that week with that tropical storm could hamper them to throw the ball. So I think Boston College tries to get out of there, with running as much as possible.
Okay.
So that's under 48.
Under 48. Damn, they dropped that a lot. It was like 53 earlier.
Well, that storm coming up there is definitely going to have an impact.
I hear you on that. Anyone's from you, Jacob or Ryan?
You go first, man.
I don't really have any others that I've really looked at. We covered all the ones that I was really looking at this week.
All right. How about you, Ryan?
The only other one I had was Hawaii and Oregon, just because they've got the over-under so low of both those teams. We know Oregon's going to score a lot of points, but the over-under is still like well below what Oregon would normally, put up. So it's just an easy money grab for me this week.
Wait, I do have one after that.
You think that they're not going to be able to put up 58 points against Hawaii and at least Hawaii get 2 touchdowns? Nah, no way.
True.
Oregon can put up 60 in Hawaii easy.
Yeah. Jacob, what was your one you had?
I got looking down Wake Forest at Old Dominion. It's only a 14-point spread, and I'm liking Wake Forest to cover that.
Okay.
I'm on the Wake Forest train this season.
Deacon over there. Positive Deacon.
He pulls for everybody in the ACC but Clemson, apparently.
But Clemson, right?
I mean, Dave Clawson's a good coach. He's got Wake going in a good direction, at least keeping them steady. I don't blame him.
That offense is always interesting, too.
I'm for that. I got a few, actually, for you. I'm throwing them at you. I got Kansas covering -28 against Nevada. Nevada's horrible.
I was just looking at that. Yeah, Nevada's real bad.
Really bad.
Real bad.
I think that's easy. Even with their backup quarterback, they're going to be putting up points. I got over 57, San Jose State at Toledo. I think that's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm thinking at least both teams could potentially drop at least 30, if not 40 each.
San Jose State screwed me. I'm not picking them.
I also got the massive game in Florida. Alabama traveling to Tampa to take on USF to put on a promo for IMG. I have the Bama first half total points 20. I just feel like that's gonna be easy money. They're gonna, especially after last week, they're probably gonna chop up 60 on them boys. And USF is horrible.
USF is really bad.
You said really first half 20?
Yeah, first half 20. I felt like it could have been easily like 25. FSU -26 over BC. Indiana to cover +10 at Louisville versus Louisville. hosting that game. I think Indiana's defense is evidently a lot better, or Ohio State look like trash. It could be both. It could be
I'm
both.
definitely hoping it's more that Ohio State looks like trash.
Trash stuff. I think they have a QB problem. They're gonna be working on. But those are just some of the side bets I have. Unless you guys have any more.
I do have Houston's playing their first Big 12 game finally against TCU. I think TCU's favored by 7.5.
Yeah.
I'm not super impressed by Houston yet this year. Rice just beat them. They barely beat Texas San Antonio. So third game against Texas in a week, Houston's probably going to lose another one. And then they got Sam Houston next week. They're just going all Texas this season, I guess.
Know, it sounds like it. Only other game I see, Oklahoma 28-point favorite over Tulsa. That looks like
yeah, that's a road game for them too.
I know. And Oklahoma, they've put up points. I mean, their offense has been great.
Yeah, they look a lot better, but it's harder. They also haven't played anyone with a pulse.
That's also true, but
don't forget they were supposed to play Georgia, but they canceled that game because we want to make sure they're fully 100% before they go to the SEC.
yeah.
Yep, but they played Texas and Alabama. That's weird.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Georgia.
And then what about the one we switched out? Arizona State and Fresno State.
I had Arizona. Fresno's I think it's a favorite in that game.
Yeah, Fresno's favored.
But I have Arizona State winning.
You do? You got Arizona State, huh?
Yeah, I think that freshman quarterback they got, the more he plays, I think he's gonna get more comfortable. And I think I would say they will win outright. I think they can cover. They can cover 3.
I don't think they'll cover 3 against that Fresno. Like we talked about Purdue earlier, and I don't think Purdue's a bad team. But Fresno put 39 in Indiana on Purdue. So I'm gonna take Fresno against Arizona State this week to cover more than 3.
I guess I was wrong. 92% of bets going Fresno's way. So
Guest picker just showed up, fellas. So
Yeah.
he's the one that gave me
You
all my picks.
got any special picks for us this week?
yeah.
She said she took Carolina, South Carolina.
South Carolina beat Georgia. Let's go.
All right, way to go, girl.
Let's go. Actually, I'll give you one more note. Arizona to beat UTEP. Minus 17.5. UTEP is really bad. I think Arizona's actually a lot more improved. They actually took Mississippi State. It's a pretty competitive game, so I wouldn't be surprised by that. All right,
UTEP won their first game though, right? It was like the first time they won their first game in like 20 years or something.
Yeah,
crazy.
they won the first game, then lost the other 2 by like 40. That's how the cookie crumbles.
Yep.
With that being said, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on once again. Week 3 college football. We're going to try to make some money together. With that being said, guys, if you're watching this pod, appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe to me on YouTube and Facebook. For my audio people, please leave a review, 5 stars, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Google. I'm out there everywhere. For Ryan, Jacob, and Matt, this is your boy Nappy Nick, and this is the Holy City High Podcast. Fellas, I appreciate you and love you.
Go make some money, fellas.
Yeah. Do it.
Bye.
Bye.